Oh, no, that's not good. Hey everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Empyrion Galactic Survival. I'm your host, Mr. Spicy, and if you've been following the series, you know where we are now. We've got our small vessel, we got a hover vessel, and we're working on getting stuff for a capital vessel, which I have been doing a lot of work off-screen trying to get supplies for that, and let me kind of show you what all I've been doing. Okay, so first thing I've done is I have decided to tear out my hover vessel that I originally built myself that looked absolutely terrible, and used one of the blueprints from the factory, one of the built-in blueprints, not one from the workshop. And it actually looks pretty good. You know, the only complaint I have about it is the door on the back is very difficult to get in and out of. If it doesn't line up just right, you can have a hard time getting in and out. And other than that, I've only made a few modifications. I had some extra cargo boxes, so I have more room. I rearranged some things in the back, but I've got fuel tank. I got, O2 station, small ammo box, fridge, and it has two side-mounted turrets, and then an artillery turret on top. It also came with a cargo box in it, and I decided to use that as kind of like a spare thing for essentials. And I haven't loaded up anything on the artillery turret yet because I don't think I need artillery turrets at the moment because I really don't have that many drones left to deal with. And speaking of drones, I have continued working on the drone base. I've gotten some more work done there. I have also finished almost the entire excavation site off. All that's left is my landing pad. I also found the core in the crashed back part of the Titan, the ship that we were in before we, ended up stranded on the planet. I actually found the core for it, and I've already taken down a huge chunk of it as well. And I took out the command tower and one of the sides already, almost, and I've been using that to gather resources specifically for the capital vessel. And what I decided to do was I've actually selected a design it's a modification of a design on the workshop. It's actually, if you go into the blueprints, you see here tier 3 prefab, and then you can go on to the workshop and look up Hakon, and you find it's the same thing. It's pretty much the same one, just modified by somebody and re-uploaded. And I kind of like the way it looked. It's got a lot of lights, and it's got the right look to it as far as like a side bay for hover vessels and such. So I've got it started building. You can see what kind of resources this thing takes, and I have already managed to get 7,000 iron ingots out of the 30,000 I need. My silicon's almost good, and that's just because I have been dumping in so many glass plates and such from my harvesting of these point of interest that I have cleared out. I haven't started harvesting out the stuff in the abandoned mine yet because I'm kind of tempted to actually abandon this base here and go there. The only thing that's keeping me from that is the fact that there's no close by water to it. It's not exactly water friendly location, and I'm fairly close still to this Epsilon fortress over here, so I haven't jumped on it yet because I need water for my hydrogen and water bottles, but also I've started producing oxygen because, as you can see on here, I need a lot of sathium. I need 7,400 ingots of sathium, and I'm not really getting that from the stuff I'm collecting at these bases, so I'm going to actually have to farm the sathium ore to make that. And you can see I get 5, or it takes 5 ore to produce 10, so I need at 7,400 ingots. So I'm going to need 740 times this. So I'm going to have 740 filled up through here that it's building to make that work. And for that to happen, I need half of that in the ore itself. So I need like 300 something ore at least. If my math, not 304, like 3,200 ore at least. So I've got to have a lot of ore for this to work. And it takes some time. But you can see here just how much of the base I have already taken out. It's opened up to the first downstairs floor level. And I haven't done anything on the mine, like I said, just because I want to kind of keep it. I might end up moving my base there, ultimately. I was thinking, though, I might try to do something with this Epsilon Outpost over here. Problem is now I can't see anything. Okay, it's just now sunrise. I went ahead and took the time to just kill the night. I did some work on the drone base, clearing more items out. Just gathering more resources for my capital vessel build. And now that it's daytime and I can actually see what I'm shooting at, we're going to try this again at taking out some of those turrets over here. And I said now that I can see, I actually kind of have the sun in my eyes a little bit too much on it. So I wonder if I can skirt around. In worst case, I may end up doing like I did on the drone base and popping myself over here on one of the mountain ridges and shooting down at that point. I really wanted to go ahead and take advantage of having the guns on the small vessel and try and at least take something out with them. Oh yeah, there we go. We got one out. We got one gone. Oh, no. That's not good. That's not good. I think it's moving slower now. Ugh. Okay, it didn't say I lost a Gatling gun, but apparently I did, because if I'm connected up on it, it says I still got 2 Gatling guns. And I appear to have lost one of my blocks on the front, too. Ooh, yeah, I took some damage there. Alright, that might not be the best approach to take out that base right now. I may have to be the sneaky guy again and take it out the other way. And I can see it, but I can't shoot at it because it is outside my range. And yet it can shoot at me perfectly fine. Alright, let's just see what I can do. Maybe if I just keep strafing. Yeah, I think I've lost one of my RCS. One of my side thrusters because I can't move and turn that quickly right now. What's this green line here? I don't remember seeing a green line before. I've seen the yellow boundary. Whoa. What did that just do? Did it like just re-render me on the other side of the planet? Is that it? Like it's not actually continuous. It has to loop around at some point. That's weird. Okay. Looking at the map, I thought it'd be like completely continuous. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm grabbing all this fiber now, so I realized, and I did some reading and noticed it, other people talk about it. You get XP for everything you pick up. Not stuff you get with the multi-tool, not stuff that you harvest from like a point of interest, but everything you get, like, plants and such, that you just walk around and get that little press F to pick up, anything like that, you get experience points for. And I want a lot of experience points right now, because I'm trying, besides not getting killed, I'm trying to get to level 20, because at level 20 I get the tier 3 auto miner unlocked, which will be so much easier for me. and I'm going to build multiple ones of those and start dropping those off all over the place at different deposits. So I'm trying to also get a lot of fuel resources pulled together for that as well. All right, well, that's going to be much more difficult than I thought it would be. And yeah, my turning is like off now for sure. I did go ahead and actually use some of my resources I've got in the factory to build another small vessel, but this one is a very special one. It was one from the workshop, and let me show you it. I'll put some more light on it. This is simply called the Pack Mule, and that is because it is nothing but cargo boxes and everything you need basically to function as a small vessel. A fuel tank, generator, you got RCS, you got thrusters for turning, and the rest of it is, and you got a constructor if you need it down here. I don't know why you would really need the constructor unless it's the fact that you're just going to fill it up with so much stuff and use it to carry it somewhere and start building things. But it's not the best thing to look at. It's not the best thing to try and fly from the first person view. You want to definitely switch views with the V key, but it moves very simply, and it does what it's supposed to do. It gives you 9 total cargo boxes for storage, and you see how much storage space you got. You can just load this thing up, and that's what it is. And it's designed and placed on the workshop for people to use and be able to stack them side by side on the capital vessel and be able to use it to go off and use that for storage, so you can move stuff around. So let's say you have one full of nothing but base building supplies, and you decide you just want to go and build a base. Then all you got to do is grab that one and fly it to whatever location you want to build your base at from the capital vessel. You don't actually have to sit there and put the capital vessel where you're wanting to build the base. Now, there are still 2 outposts back towards the original area where I built my base before, and you got the outpost and the fortress. Obviously, fortress makes it sound like a much more difficult challenge to beat. So I'm not sure if I want to try that one. Plus, the point is, on those, I'm going to have to destroy the turrets on one and then destroy the turrets on the other one before I can even get into either one of them to do any kind of tearing apart and harvesting. So I've been pretty much sticking with finishing up the excavation site, and like I said, I managed to find the core for the crashed part of the Titan and started tearing it apart, which has given me a lot of materials. Okay, it's still early morning, but you can already see I'm here at the crashed part of the Titan, the ship we were originally on at the start of the game, where we hit the escape pod and landed on this planet. And you can see, if you've watched the series so far, just how much I have already cleared out. This was a whole section matching that's gone, and there was a command tower that went up taller than both of those that's already gone, that I've been just sitting here just going along in the off-screen time doing this sort of thing, just over and over and over, gathering every single resource I can. And now, under other circumstances, it would be a case of I would need a lot of storage capacity. I'd be making a lot of trips back and forth because of running out of space with the small vessel as far as transporting things. But the interesting thing is, with the factory, I don't have to worry about that. I can just go ahead and dump the supplies right in, and you see it goes right to the account of what I need. I've also got some wood loss because I decided to start gathering wood again, chopping down trees like that one there in the distance, just because they don't serve any purpose right now in the game other than to give me wood. They don't serve as a special shade or anything like that, or a place where birds gather and I can hunt those birds. So it really is just a wood resource. And so what I've been doing is decided I would just go ahead and gather a bunch of wood, because in the factory, the blueprints, if you look in the blueprints, there's actually a very interesting base blueprint the starter one, the tier 1, in tier 1A. Now, tier 1A requires a lot of iron, and silicon, cobalt, all that. You know, that looks nicer, and it looks like it'd probably be more useful ultimately. And you have stuff like this and so on. The tier 1, the very first one that you unlock when you hit level 3, and if you do, like I said, just grab everything you can at the beginning of the game, you'll hit level 3 pretty quickly. This base is also useful later in the game as a protective base for harvesting a big deposit. So you don't build a base that's overkill, that's more than what you need. You end up building this base on top of a deposit, or right next to a deposit, and you've got a turret right on top of the base that will sit there and shoot anything that's coming after you, and you have a place where you can sit there with a constructor and work while you harvest and not have to use the same amount of power consumption that a capital vessel would. So it's an advantage on that part. But I'm going to go ahead and continue harvesting this down, tearing out everything I can, try to pretty much get the whole thing finished up and have nothing left of this, and get more stuff in the factory. I'm going to be doing more farming of Sathium. I'm going to try to figure out a way to get at least one of the Epsilon places freed up of turrets this week. I definitely want to get at least one of those clear of turrets, even if it means I have to rebuild stuff on the small vessel again to go back and attack them again. I'm going to try to get stuff set up so that the turrets are gone from at least one of the outposts, so I can get in there and have another place to hopefully grab more supplies from it. So I've got, this is that part of the game where now I've got a lot of work I have to be doing off screen in preparation to get everything done. And it may make things a little slow right now until we can get that capital vessel going, but I'm going to be working on it and getting everything going for this as much as I can. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, keep up with my updates by following me on Facebook and Twitter. And as always, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.